Good morning. This is Weekly Reflections, and I'm Nancy Joy. I had yesterday, my husband Mark and I invited our spiritual friends from Iowa, our conscious friends from Iowa, who have been to retreats and enjoyed our property, our land, El Shaddai, which, as most of you know by now, is for sale and on the market. And we invited them over to help us ready the gardens, get all the winter stuff out, and of course it's for sale. You want it to look nice. And the thought of this was overwhelming to me, as much of this life change, if I really can sink into it, gets a little overwhelming for me. I'm sure you guys can appreciate this wherever you are in this shift time. And it was just so moving to me. All day long, people showed up and helped and completely got all the gardens. And we have one 300-foot long one, huge, all cleaned out, cleared out, beautified, ready, with such love and such tenderness. And my heart was just struck. And then the night before this, I had a catch-up dinner after many weeks, 5 weeks or so, with one of my dearest friends. And we got to talking about my leaving. Her son is leaving for college. There's just a huge energy, no matter where you are right now, of the shift and the unknown. I mean, there's no two ways about it. So I'm just going to share with you my version. So after going through all these emotions, I had read a Facebook quote by a dear dolphin soul sister friend of mine named Maartje Kreuzen, and she was just sharing on Facebook page. And one of the things she said was, no need to solve things in order to feel better. In this way, you will allow the new energies to integrate with your intention effortlessly, and they will contribute to your ever-expanding unfolding. And it was almost just a breath of fresh air, and I went and copied it right down because I knew that this was going to be important to me. So throughout the day, when I had some tears with all my friends around, and I realized just how much time with this shift I spend trying to figure out and solve the unknowable and the unknown. Here we are with our house for sale. We don't know for sure where we're going. Most likely Florida, perhaps Panama. Not totally clear. We certainly don't know what house we're moving into. We don't know how our finances are going to come down. We're really leaving a place where both of us have been longer than we've been anywhere in our lives. My husband is, although born in Michigan, spent a good part of his life in California in the Santa Maria area. And I'm an East Coastie, grew up right outside of Manhattan in Jersey. And then I spent 18 years maybe, something like that, in the Chicago area. Always considered myself kind of had to be near a city girl in a way. Wouldn't want to live right in the city. And then boom, in 1989, I was transmuted, transformed, located, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to Iowa, to the middle of the heartland. And boy, did I resist going. But so much. Now I figured out I have been here 26 years, longer than I have been anywhere else in my life. And yet I don't think of myself as an Iowan. Isn't that funny? But so much has happened to me here. I moved here. My kids did a lot of their schooling here. Their later schooling both went to U of I. I got divorced here. I started a whole new life here. I met my new husband and soulmate here. As I said, he was from California. I'm from Chicago in the East Coast. Here we meet in the heartland in the middle of Iowa. And we've been together for, married 16 years, probably 18, 19 together. And this is home to us. This is what we've known. But we know, both of us know, it's time to go. You just, you know if you've been divorced, if you've left home, your children leave home, it's time. But the feelings come up, the nostalgia comes up. And because we have so many unknowns, oh man, your mind can really just circle around the block with you. So we're being pulled. What I know beyond a shadow of a doubt is we're being pulled into a new experience. And when I read Marge's quote, stop trying to solve anything, stop trying to figure it out. it was such a relief. It's such a breath of fresh air. I know this, that the universe is guiding us to where we need to be. It's unfolding exactly as it needs to be. It brings to mind the words of a teacher of mine who said, well, Ezekiel always says, I don't know is a good place to be because that's the only place you can create and you're teachable. Because when you know something, you're kind of blocked and limited, and that's, as we know, your shadow patterns from the past. And another quote I have always loved from another teacher is, I don't know how, I don't know when, but this is all coming together divinely, perfectly for me. And of course, we know that. So then Marge's line, stop trying to solve things, just let me out of some kind of box I had for myself. I have, my moon is in Capricorn and I have Virgo rising, although I'm a Libra, which is an air sign. Usually I float really well with things, but I have that part of me that has to have a plan in there somewhere to fall back on. And there really isn't any solid plan, you might say, to fall back on. And even in your lives where you think you have one, you don't know how this new earth is going to change you, transform you, relocate you. And so it's getting comfortable, as we said last week, with the uncomfortable. But I know in my heart that this is exciting, and this is where we need to go. And as all the emotions of this ebb and flow and the unknowns begin to gradually unfold, I'm left with me. In the end, that's who I'm left with. And the universe, I know, is coalescing around me to create the most perfect and beautiful experience. And my head just has to get over the pattern of thinking it needs to know exactly what that is. It's different from creating your dreams and feeling how you want to live and feeling you're already there. That's one thing. I can do that. How you're going to get, the issue your head gets you into is how you're going to get from where you are to the things you are creating. And that's where it has to be. I don't know how and I don't know when, but it is, right? And so if you find yourself in a similar emotional conundrum as you're going through this shift and these chaotic times coming out of all the eclipses and equinox and squares, and now we're even heading into, of course, a new moon and solstice. There's always something, right? So after all that comes up, just sit back and take in Maartje, take in Ezekiel, take in my wise teacher, and just relax into the space and allow it to unfold. Feels to me at times like I'm letting go of I'm letting go and creating a vacuum. But when you turn on a vacuum, you're going to pull creation in. It's kind of what the void is all about. So I want to tell you, stop trying to solve everything out there. Stop trying to search the internet and figure it all out. I mean, it's good to know, it's good to be informed, good to take a look, and then let it go. Don't get hung up on trying to solve it, because you're trying to solve something with an old mindset and an old pattern, or you wouldn't be trying to solve it. You would be in the experience, and the experience is what it's all about. So be in your experience. Stop trying to solve everything. Relax into this, and let's all keep our hearts open and get excited about what we're creating. Have a great week. Be back again with you next week. In the meantime, take care of who you are. Bye-bye.